In this video we will cover VFX, and specifically we'll be animating a water dropping into water. So the first thing you want to do is create your canvas 64 by 64, and then at the middle top of your screen draw your first water droplet. Then create a new layer, draw a second droplet, a new layer, third droplet, a fourth layer, so on, so on. The water droplet is falling down, so we want some spacing in there. So then I'll go back to layer 1, position the water droplet at the top. Layer 2, I'll position it a little bit below, and then the further down it goes, the faster and faster the water droplet goes. So that means I have to space them out more and more until it hits the water somewhere down here. And so my final spacing kind of looks like this, where you have the space between the water droplets getting bigger and bigger as they get lower and lower. So what I'm going to do now is create a new layer, or I'm going to rename this layer as water, create a new layer, rename that one as background. And with the background layer selected, I'm also going to select the line tool and just draw a straight line across. And I'm going to fill the bottom of it. Then I'm going to change the color to blue because this will be our water. And I will move the layer down by selecting the background layer and pressing the down arrow. So now our water droplet is on top of the background layer. So our water droplet is always visible. It is not hidden by the background layer. Now what we need to do is copy that background from our one frame onto all the other frames. So select the rectangular selection tool, copy the background and paste it across, just like in the rolling ball video. And for the final frame, I'm also going to erase half of the droplet so that it seems like half of it is already in the water. Then I'm going to duplicate layer 5 and fully erase that water droplet. And I will start drawing my ripples. But I will draw them in the color black. And for this, if you're not sure what shape you should draw, you can Google like water droplets. It's always a good idea to use reference images, which are images or videos of like the real thing that you look at and you kind of see the shapes that you should be drawing. Now I'm going to draw or duplicate this frame and I will start editing it. So here I can see that I kind of have like a blob that will separate into a droplet. So I will fully make that separation and draw a droplet. Then here on the right I can also have like a little separation that will also form a new droplet. So I'll just draw that one, and then I will redraw my shape at the bottom. Same thing on the left hand side. This one kind of looks like it will form a droplet, so I will draw that. And I'm just touching it up here. And there will be another one at the top left here. And I'm also just touching it up. And now if you look at our top right, you can see the GIF that's kind of being formed. And so now the name of the game will be to just kind of make the middle part slowly shrink down. And those 4 droplets that I have there, they will have to continue their path in kind of like an arc. So they'll slowly go up and then slowly come down. And here I actually figured that I might even draw one more water droplet on the left hand side just to add a little bit more interest to it. So I'm just editing my frame that I just worked on. Okay, now I will duplicate this layer. And so now I will look at, I look at one drop and I'm like, okay, how would it move, right? And so I'll erase the previous drop and kind of draw a new one. But I'm always imagining these lines, right? These arcs. So like, okay, this is kind of how I think that water droplet will move. And again, if you look at top right, always kind of look back and see how it looks. Does it look good? Then the blob again in the middle is shrinking, so I draw it a little bit lower. It's shrinking, but also falling down. And then for this droplet, I again draw kind of like a curve that I think the path would look like, just to kind of give me an idea of where I should draw it next. And from now on, it will just be rinse and repeat. So you will do this until all of your water droplets kind of come down. And so here, On the right side, I imagine that that water droplet already makes contact with the water. So I will just draw a line. And what I'm pretty much setting up is that when the water droplets hit the water, then there will be ripples coming out. And also when the middle bit, so the blob in the middle that's been consistently shrinking, when it actually reaches the middle, it will once again create a ripple that will then expand. And so here I'm already drawing the ripple getting bigger, and the ripples will be like an oval shape. And I'm also continuing drawing the water droplets that are still in the air. And now that I think that I'm done, I will be looking at top right and kind of making sure everything's as I like. But I'm not too happy about the frame just as the droplet hits the water. I think it kind of moves way too fast, so I will draw an in-between frame. So right here, it grows way too fast for me. So I will find that layer. It's between 5 and 6. So I'll duplicate layer 5. So I have a new layer between 5 and 7 now. And I will draw kind of like an in-between layer there. So it grows a little bit slower. So now this is kind of how it will be growing, which I think is much smoother and looks a little bit better. I also found like a little problem right here between these frames, but I will not do it on video. Hopefully you guys get the point. Then when you finish, because our water droplet is essentially a black outline, same with the water, what you will have to do is color it all. I suggest picking different blue hues for the water droplet that's falling and also for the ripples. Don't make it the exact same blue that you drew your background water with, otherwise you will lose absolutely everything. It will look all the same. And yeah, that's it.